In the winter of 2010, I traveled to Bhutan with my parents and my sister. It was a wonderful trip where we covered Thimphu, Punakha, Wangdi Phatrong, and finally we reached Paro at the end of our trip. In Paro, on 18th November 2010, it was a very important day in my life when I went on to climb the Taktsang Monastery. It was a great day, a sunny day, and I started my climb from the 0 point. The beauty of the forests of cypress trees, the waterfalls, the streams, the choras, it was absolutely a paradise out there. And I remember the path through the forest was so natural, and it was at places rocky also, that it offered a lot of challenge for any hiker or trekker to walk up to the top of the mountain to visualize the absolutely mesmerizing structure of the holy Taktsang Monastery. My trek started in the morning and I reached Taktsang Monastery after a very tough climb of almost 4 hours. This journey through the forests, I saw waterfalls, monasteries, lots of birds, flora and fauna, and it was a journey of my life. I still remember when I reached the top and I was standing in front of the Taktsang Monastery and I found the waterfalls cascading down. The entire ambience of that place was so enchanting that I cannot forget it till today. This is a story of my adventure in Bhutan, where I climbed the Taktsang Monastery way back in 2010.
So here I am at Bhutan, Paro, the town of Paro. Here at the outskirts of the town of Paro, it's a beautiful natural place. As you can see, that lot of cypress and pine trees around, and I am here to climb the Taktsang Monastery, one of the most important temples of this Bhutanese people. To give you a view of the Taktsang Monastery, that is the one. Yeah, as you can see, it's perched on a cliff which is almost 3000 feet high. But amazingly, on a cliff, it brings pride to the Bhutanese about the work of their ancestors. It is said that Guru Rinpoche arrived here on the back of a tigress and meditated at this monastery, and hence it is also called Tiger's Nest. It is located at a height of 900 meters or approximately 3000 feet. So I'll have to climb this cliff to reach the Taktsang Monastery now. Oh, well, this is a beautiful road, as you can see. It leads up to the Taktsang Monastery, and the view of the monastery, as you can see from here, yeah, that's it. That is the monastery.
After walking for just 5 minutes from the 0 point through a rocky terrain and full of boulders in a natural path, I saw a beautiful monastery and a stream.
This is the monastery, and we will follow this path to Taktsang Monastery now. There is a small waterfalls out there. Let's check out the waterfalls now. Well, that is the waterfalls. We are actually walking towards the waterfalls, whereas the track to Taktsang Monastery is on my back side, opposite side. But we just want to check out the waterfalls. See the water flowing here. And it comes from there. That is the waterfall. That is the waterfall. Isn't that beautiful? A lot of vegetation and plants all around. It's quiet and silence all around. Only you can hear the sound, the noise of flowing water. Let's check this out. That's how the water flows from here. and it flows this way towards the monastery. This footpath was made in the year 2000 and was repaired again in 2009, that is last year. Walk to Guru's glory, take back memories of a kingdom. For here in this kingdom rules an unparalleled benevolent king, a number tribute. This is what the board out here on the way to Taktsang Monastery. That's what it reads. So we will again proceed on our way. Well, I started my climb somewhere down there, and this is the picturesque view down there. Yeah, that's the 0 point close to that place. I started my climb to Taktsang Monastery from there. This is the zero. This is halfway, not even halfway through. We are able to travel a lot of distance. As you can see, the mountains around with lot of pine trees. The view from here is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, you just need to sit here and enjoy the scenic beauty out here. The environment, the air is so fresh, and you can see the clouds up there on the top of that mountain. Only thing you can hear is the noise of the water, the flowing stream down there in the jungle. That's what you can hear, and otherwise it's absolutely quiet. So now we shall follow our way to Taktsang Monastery again. So I will go ahead with this track, which is quite steep at some places. I'll show you something interesting now as we go ahead, as we follow this track towards Taktsang Monastery. Well, I hope you can see this flags tied to a rope and hanging on top of my on the way to Taktsang Monastery. Here we can find these flags. These flags are actually known as lungdar. The Bhutanese, the Buddhist rather, they call them lungdar, and they have, you know, the mantras all printed on these flags, colorful flags. Then they believe, the Buddhists believe, that when the wind blows through these flags actually spread a positive energy which which blocks or which stops the evil spirit from coming close to this region. So that is a holy belief as far as these flags are concerned. Hello, this is a place halfway through my way to Taktsang Monastery. From here, as we can see, the view of the valley, the Paro Valley, is beautiful. I'm sitting on a rock in this track, and I feel that I have reached almost to the cliff of these mountains. As you can see, the cliff of the mountains are at almost at the same level as the rock where I'm sitting here, and this place is very beautiful. On the way, all throughout, I have seen this. This is the track up to the Taktsang Monastery, and all the pine trees all around. That's the valley on that side, and this is the way down. So now I shall proceed on my way to Taktsang Monastery.
After climbing for almost more than 2 hours, I reached the top of a cliff, which was more like a flat piece of ground, and it was mesmerizing and absolutely spiritual environment over there. All around I could see lungdars hanging, giving a very colorful ambience to that place. I could see Buddhist prayer wheels, giant prayer wheels, and on top of another cliff I could see the Taktsang Monastery of the Tiger's Nest. There were a lot of tourists over there. They were all resting on their way to the Taktsang Monastery. I also saw some monks over there. The ambience of that place created a vibe on my mind and my soul and I rested for a while to absorb those vibes. It was truly an amazing experience till that place. The journey was amazing.
This is yet another spectacular view of Taktsang Monastery. I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, and as you can see, the deep gorge down there full of pine trees. And this is the way up, as some foreigners were traveling up this way, and this is the way down. And I came from a shortcut, which is quite a steep climb this way.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. How many feet is this? What's the altitude of the monastery?
So we have reached yet another point on my way to Taktsang Monastery. As you can see, that lungdars are hanging from the trees here. All on my way to Taktsang Monastery, all the way I have found these lungdars and these trees here. Just see the trees, and you find a lot of mosses hanging from the trees. This is an amazing beauty out here. So I'll follow this way up to Taktsang Monastery. The monastery is visible from here. Let me show you. That is it. As you can see, it's partially visible through the trees. So now I will go up this way.
After a tiring climb of almost more than 3 hours, I reached the edge of a cliff, and what I saw in front of my eyes, I was speechless. There was no words I could describe. What I saw in front of my eyes was the Paro Taktsang, the tiger's nest, where Guru Padmasambhava arrived on the back of a tigress and practiced Vajrayana with his students, meditated there. I am standing in front of the Taktsang Monastery. My dream for years to come to Bhutan and climb to the mountain to see the Taktsang Monastery. The ambience, the spiritualism, the lungdars, the valley, the cypress trees, the other structures and houses housing the monks, the waterfalls, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Spiritualism was in the air. I stood there speechless for quite some time, and I kept on watching the great Taktsang Monastery.
No. So here I am, very close to Taktsang Monastery. Now it is steps down there which I have to follow to reach to the monastery. This is an amazing view. As you can see the gorge down there, and I am standing at the edge of the cliff. That is Taktsang Monastery, and I have to follow this way to Taktsang Monastery. Well, I'm very close to Taktsang Monastery right now. I'm standing at a place from where you can see this waterfall coming down from the mountain, and we have lungdars all around, and that is Taktsang Monastery up there. So now I'll walk over this bridge. This is a bridge made of stones with concrete railings. That's the waterfall. Just see this. Isn't that amazing? It's wonderful creation of nature. See the cliff up there. That's yet another temple up there. That is another temple. And this is the waterfall. This is the waterfall. That's me up here. That is the waterfall up there. So now I have to walk up this track up there to Taktsang Monastery. And from this side, as you can see, yeah, those are the plains. There's the cliff, and that is the plain land down there. So we are almost 10,000 feet above the Paro Valley right now. 3,000 feet above the Paro Valley and 10,000 feet above sea level. So this is an amazing place, amazing. I came from this way, and here I am at the bridge. So this is my way to the Taktsang Monastery. I'm following this track uphill. From here again we can see the waterfalls. And that's the other temple up there. And this is my way to Taktsang Monastery. Well, this is yet another view of the waterfalls. I am very close to Taktsang Monastery right now, and as we can see from here, the waterfalls, it comes down from there, and the water cascades down to this place, and then it flows towards the gorge. The most amazing creation out here is on the right hand side of the waterfalls. That is yet another temple. It is an amazing piece of architecture. Just see how the temple has been built by the Bhutanese. Yeah, this is somewhere located within the rocks. So kind of not exactly a cave, but on the ledge, on the edge of a rock. Oh, that's an amazing creation. And this is actually my way to Taktsang Monastery. Now I shall follow my way to Taktsang Monastery.
I switched off my camera as videography and photography was not allowed inside the monastery. I went inside and met the monks, joined them for spiritualism. I saw the amazing architecture of the monastery. I collected the holy water from the stream and I got lost in the spiritual vibes of the monastery. It was an experience of a lifetime for me to visit Taktsang Monastery in Bhutan.